Man, oh man. So the streets saying that Nico Harrison and Adam Silver had his deal all along. I don't believe that shit. I don't buy it. I don't think the NBA is rigged. I feel like if it was rigged, someone's gonna leak the information regardless. No way they're gonna keep all that under wraps. But the way it turned out to be, they traded Luka. They get the #1 overall pick. They went from Dirk to Luka to Cooper Flag. They haven't gone without a white cold boy. They haven't gone without a cold white boy on the team since before Dirk. So they haven't had a good white boy since the mid-90s. Don't know what Cooper Flag is going to turn out to be. He's looking like a generational prospect. But at the end of the day, he could be a bust. So even getting Cooper Flag might not be, replacing Luka. I mean, it's going to be really damn hard to replace Luka unless Cooper Flag on that, Wemby level. Hey, maybe. But yeah, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that's going to happen. But Nico Harrison does not deserve this. He does not deserve to get the #1 overall pick. He better not be spewing this. Oh, this is what we have drew up all along. This was this was the long-term plan. This is why we made the Luka trade. Because he over here talking about, defense with championships, and then they get Cooper Flag, which I don't watch college. But from what all I know, he's a pretty good defensive player. Now they got AD, Kyrie, Cooper Flag, Klay Thompson, and a decent amount of role players. Now, if I'm a Mavericks fan, does this make this okay? No. 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 The same organization that had a funeral for Luka Doncic after he got traded, I don't think they'll be okay. But they're a lot better than they were yesterday. I say that. Now, what does this mean for the Mavericks? I don't really know, because from all accounts, Nico Harrison, the whole point of the Luka trade was to get better defensively because they want to make he said they have a window they're trying to maximize. So now that you got Cooper Flag, it's all dependent on Cooper Flag, how good he actually is his rookie year. That's a lot of pressure to put on him if you want him to be like an all-star, superstar level rookie year. That's a lot of pressure. And if he doesn't live up to that, I'm not gonna get mad. That's super understandable. You know what I mean? Like, he's a rookie. But let's just say best case scenario, he is what we're thinking he is. He's a generational player. Say he's damn near a superstar rookie year. If he's at that level and they have AD, Kyrie, Klay Thompson, the Mavericks gonna look real nice. And there's circulation going around. They're trying to trade for Kevin Durant. Now, I don't think you get that Kevin Durant trade without trading Cooper Flag. But if somehow they do it, that team's gonna look real nice. But then again, the NBA is different. You know what I mean? Having those three superstars don't really do it no more. Just look at the Suns. So maybe that isn't the greatest decision to make. You're gonna have 3 aging stars and then 1 young star. There's a word where it could work. There's a word where it can't. I don't know. Best case scenario, that does go pretty good, but I highly doubt that's the direction they want to make, and I highly doubt that it would work. And now PJ Washington doesn't make any sense on this team. I don't know where he fits in on this team. So him, Daniel Gafford, they're most likely getting traded in the offseason. They got decent value. I don't know what moves they're gonna make, but there's something there to work with. If you're a Mavericks fan, let me know how y'all feel. I wouldn't even know how to feel if we lost Shea, but then we got Cooper Flag. I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't know how to feel. I'd still feel pretty shitty, but it is kind of crazy. Like I said, before the draft started, I think they had the 11th. They were projected to go 11th, and they jumped up to #1, which is insane. I'm not saying the NBA rig. Like I said, I highly doubt, they'd let that happen, or I'm pretty sure someone would have snitched or something. But the fact that they jumped up to #1 is kind of crazy. But the thing that I think is just as interesting is the Spurs getting the 2nd overall pick. The reason for that is Giannis earlier today, or not Giannis himself, but Shams put out a tweet saying that Giannis is open to the idea of getting traded. And he wants to go to a team that has no state tax, and I believe Texas doesn't have any state tax. So the Spurs got everything they need to trade for Giannis. If you're the Spurs and you say you could have anyone besides Wemby and De'Aaron Fox, they got a lot to work with. They can give them Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, the #2 overall pick, and they have a lot of other first-round picks that are pretty valuable. And a lot of reports saying this might be a real possibility. I mean, if the Spurs get Giannis, that team gonna be crazy. That's a pretty good fit. Giannis going from having Brook Lopez old ass to having Wemby. Because think about it, that's like, who would be a better center to pair against Giannis? Wemby can stretch the floor. He can protect the paint. He's going to do the same thing he's doing in Milwaukee. He's basically playing that free safety role on defense. And you still got De'Aaron Fox. So there's a lot of ways the Spurs could go about it. A lot of players, they could trade or keep. But either way, if they somehow pull that off, the Spurs gonna look crazy next year. Because even without Giannis, I would project them to be, somewhere in that playing playoff spot. So like I say, like best case scenario, like 6th seed, like somewhere anywhere from like the 6th to 9th seed, I can see the Spurs being in. If you add Giannis into that, they automatically to me like a top 4, top 3 seed in the West. And that might be lowballing it because we don't know how much better Wemby gonna be. Only thing about that, Giannis is kind of getting up there in age. I believe he's about 31 years old. So I don't know. If you're a Spurs fan, would you be willing to give up Sohan, Vassell, Stephon Castle, and all them other picks for an aging superstar and Giannis? I don't know, because look at Joel Embiid. I mean, Joel Embiid, he has been injury riddled from the beginning, but he's around the same age as Giannis. And it ain't looking too good for Embiid. So Giannis is, God forbid, he's like one bad injury away from being in the same boat. That's a pretty big risk to take if you're the Spurs, because it's like you just gave up all that. Now Giannis on the sidelines and everything. But at the end of the day, it's Giannis. So that's something we're going to put a pin in for now. I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. I'm not sure if it's coincidence that report came out the same day as the draft lottery selection. But hey, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Now, something almost as crazy as what happened with the draft, the Celtics are down 3-1 against the Knicks, which is crazy because coming into the series, no one saw that coming. Everyone thought, if anything, it'd be the other way around, where the Celtics would be up 3-1. I mean, this game, Jason Tatum was playing out of his mind. He ended the game with 42 points, and he did have injury. We're going to get into that later. But a lot of people were on his ass, especially Legend. I don't know if y'all know who Legend or Winning is, but he was on Tatum's ass. And I say rightfully so, the same way we should be on Jokic and Shea's ass as well. I mean, they all haven't been playing the greatest. But this game, he really came and showed out. He showed why he a top 5 player in the league. I feel like he a top 5 player in the league. If you disagree, hey, that's your opinion. But I believe he top 5. But for a majority of that game, the Celtics were up. They had like a 10-point lead for a good portion of the game. I believe going into the half, they were up 11. The Knicks didn't really turn up until like the third quarter. The Knicks outscored the Celtics 37-23 in the third quarter. Basically tying up, I forgot what the exact score was, but basically tying up the game going into the fourth. So at that point, it was anyone's ball game. And then going into that fourth, that's when it became do or die for the Celtics. If they lose that quarter, they're going down 3-1, which what inevitably happened. During that fourth quarter, Mikal Bridges, he started getting into rhythm, made a few shots. Jalen Brunson as well. Basically, the whole team was doing exactly what they needed to do, to get the job done. It was about 3 minutes left into the fourth quarter. It was about 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. At that point, I feel like the Knicks were already running away with the lead. They were up like 8 or 9. The unfortunate happened. Jason Tatum, I believe, was reaching for a steal, or I forgot what exactly. It was either he was reaching for a steal or it was a missed pass or something, and then OG Anunoby got the ball and he ran out on the fast break. But during that, he fell to the ground. He grabbed his Achilles. It kind of did look like he turned around a little bit. I mean, he was spinning while he was doing it, so I can't really tell. It did look pretty bad though. When he got on the ground, he started squirming around. The whole situation just looked nasty. The saddest part was him going into the tunnel on that wheelchair. Basically, it looked like he was crying, holding his face. It looked real bad. Prayers out to JT. Great player. I don't want to see him out. But this does lead to bigger implications for the Celtics. I mean, if it is a Achilles tendon tear, he most likely out for all of next season. So he's not going to come back into the 2027 season. At that point, the team might be constructed totally different, regardless with his injury or not. Because of the second apron, they weren't going to be able to pay all the players. So most likely Drew Holiday is going to be gone. Al Horford, he like 45, so he might retire. They might trade KP as well. I don't know. There's a lot of things they could do with this team to help, fix the salary cap situation. So when Jason Tatum comes back, he might come back to a totally different team that he left before he got injured. So next season for the Celtics is most likely a wash. Like they're not going to do anything next year. I mean, even if they keep the same core group of guys and they're all healthy, best case scenario, they still be a pretty good team. I could see them being like a 4th or 5th, somewhere like anywhere at the 3rd or 5th seed. And no, they'd probably be a first on exit. But like I said, I don't think they're gonna keep all the guys they got right now. They might do a situation where they just, they know next year's gonna be a wash. They get rid of the bigger contracts, whether it be KP, or Julius or Drew Holiday, or like I said, Al Horford might retire. They cut their losses. And they just go into a tanking season. Hopefully end up with a top 5 pick. And now they got a top 5 pick to replace the talent they lost. The silver lining, it could be a blessing in disguise. Like I said, they weren't going to be able to keep all that talent. So maybe, getting the top 5 pick, they could replenish some of that. But at the end of the day, I'm more than likely sure that, Celtics rather have not gone through all that and have, JT fully healthy going into next season. But like I said, with the Celtics next season being a wash, that leaves an open vacancy for the Eastern Conference. I mean, regardless, the Celtics want to lose this to the Knicks because, like I said, they're already up like 8 with 3 minutes to go. The Knicks were going to win this game, so regardless, it was going to be Knicks versus Pacers in the conference finals. And going into next year, we don't know what's happening with the Cavs. Since the Cavs are seeing this, if I'm a Cavs fan, I'd rather just keep my team intact. Might tweak the edges a little bit. Ty Jerome probably going to get paid. He might leave to a different team or whatever. But for the most part, you had the same team. And if the Celtics are out of the equation, you're the heavy favorites to make it out the Eastern Conference. But then again, the Knicks are looking crazy. Because like I said, regardless of the injury, the Knicks are probably going to the Eastern Conference Finals. And with the Knicks basically advancing to the Conference Finals, it's Pacers versus Knicks in the Conference Finals. I don't think anyone saw that coming. But it's crazy that one of those two teams is going to be in the finals. If I had to pick, I'd say the Knicks would probably, be the better team and, make it out. But then again, the Pacers, you can't really count them out. They've been playing phenomenal. Injuries with the Cavs they're doing what they're supposed to do. So you can't really count them out. But if I had to pick, I'd pick the Knicks. But yeah, like I said, that Jason Tatum injury, kind of shifted the whole Eastern Conference. If we being honest, the Celtics out of the equation just changes a lot of what teams are going to do this offseason. So yeah, we'll see how this all plays out though.